Okay. Sure. Yeah. With an H or no? Okay. Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
There's still going to be DC-based stuff on this.
Oh, just tell her just something. It's totally fine. Nancy Pelosi wouldn't let anything go out without Nancy Pelosi. Well, that's why I was like, how are you? Oh my God, have you ever? I'm not in charge.
Joint base. Like I pick up inside the International Guard. And I'm like, that's great. The Navy wants us, so does the Army. I think Air Force has a lot of that. Hi, Sean. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. I know. We're raising a lot of money at this. Do you want her to yes, all right, ready? Good. Sorry. Can anybody whistle?
Katherine in the press.
That's what we do in Illinois.
I'll just stop you to your brilliant. Thank you.
All right, can I have everyone's attention, please? Okay, I'm going to go back here so I don't have my back to anybody. First of all, let's thank the machinist for hosting this. Where's Rick? Rick, raise your hand. Delinquente. Hey, Rick, thank you. We're clapping for the machinist. So thank you very much. I'm Cheri Bustos, and I am from the great state of Illinois. And we have many other Illinoisans here. So thank you very much for coming out and supporting our 4 awesome candidates. Just a couple remarks before I turn it over to Leader Pelosi. So we have every opportunity to win back the House. We have every opportunity to do that. And that path goes straight through Illinois, straight through the Midwest. And our 4 candidates who are here are part of that solution. So raise your hand. You guys are going to speak in a minute. But Brenden Kelly from Southern Illinois. Betsy Dirksen Londrigan from my hometown of Springfield. Casten, who's going to take on Peter Roscoe. He is going to, well, take him on. Like, take him on. Take him on. Take him out. And Lauren Underwood, who's going to take out Brenden Kelly. So before we get into any detail, I would like to introduce our great leader of the Democratic Caucus, Nancy Pelosi.
Thank you very much, Cheri. Thank you for being part of the leadership and opening up this evening. This is, as you said, the road to the majority goes right through Illinois and the Midwest. What's exciting for me about Illinois, and Jan Schakowsky knows this, and Robin and Mr. Foster and all the others, is that Illinois is a place that is the heart.
And Raja.
And Brad.
Denny might know a thing or two.
Well, Denny maybe. What they know is that Illinois is like the combination of every great thing in America is about vitality and entrepreneurship and the rest. It's the heartland of America, so everything that has to do with the Midwest and the heartland values and the rest. And yet, at the same time, it has some of the great diversity of the coast. And so it is, I often wondered when Paul Simon was the senator, why is he talking about immigration? What could he possibly know about immigration coming from Illinois? Plenty. So again, it's the vitality, that constant reinvigoration of America from our immigrant community, yes, the great migration from the South as well. So it's a place that sort of vibrates in a very special way, certainly commercially, entrepreneurship-wise, but also reflects the beautiful diversity of America. So Sean and Brenden, and where are they all? Betsy and Lauren, they are just going to come to Congress. The governor to be guaranteed your success. So we're going to win everything. Governor Pritzker to be, he said we're going to win everything because he knows how you are. And Brenden, what I learned about Brenden, he has public service in his blood. His mother, Susan, has worked at the Department of Defense, so he'll be a security force there. But you're going to hear from them all and be so encouraged. Now, what I want to thank the machinists, I didn't realize there were party favors here tonight. Thank you very much. A nice surprise. But this is important, and everything we raise when we go to Illinois stays in Illinois. This is our focus. These candidates, some of them won tough primaries. They're battle tested. They're ready to go into the field. And when you come here, you'll be independent voices for each individual districts. I always say to people, your job description and your job title are the same, representative. And sometimes you have to say back home, this is in the national interest, that might not be readily apparent, but because you have connected with their aspirations and their apprehensions, they will trust you. So this isn't about what's going on here, it's what's going on between you and your constituents. And Betsy had heard me say this any number of times now when we've been at our women's events. But it's very exciting. And you'll make the fight. Susan, Brendan's mom said, I'm going to have to get thick skin. Yeah, this is not for the faint of heart. This is not for the faint of heart. But my colleagues will all attest. It's definitely worth it for the difference you can make for our country. So what you are doing is very patriotic. Thank you for the gift you are to America. We all are going to work very hard to make sure you come here, but your success will be your own. Congratulations on your nominations. Good luck in the campaign. Now, just to go where Cheri went for a moment, we have made a decision that we are going to have the majority in the engineer back from that to make sure we have built in everything we have to do and a little redundancy just in case. But all of you will be part of that victory. And these may be small margins, but they'll make a big difference in the lives of the American people. Thank you for your courage. Are you ready for a great democratic Illinois? Because my husband, who has served on the board for 20, 30 years, I forgot which, at Georgetown School of Foreign Service, and for 13 years as the chair, is being honored at 6 o'clock tonight at Georgetown. So I'm going to have to excuse all
Paul, thanks for being here also. Congratulations.
I'm the son-in-law.
Oh, I thought it was Paul Pelosi, but it's the son-in-law.
I'm the best.
You guys are best friends. Have fun. Congratulations to your father-in-law. I think the fact that you've got members from Michigan, state of Washington, New York, and all these members from Illinois says something about the four candidates who are here tonight. But I don't need to tell your stories. Let's go in alphabetical order. Speak for 2 minutes. Each of you have 2 minutes, okay? And then you'll have plenty of time to circulate and talk to anybody else. We'll start with Sean Casten.
So thank you all. Let me start by just saying that it has not escaped my attention that I get huge cheers when I walk into rooms lately. And the cheering starts when people say he's going to replace Peter Roskam. They never get to my name. The people are keeping me appropriately humble. I've dedicated my whole life to climate change. That's been the defining issue of trying to profitably reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We built some successful companies doing that. And it makes me, I've had to learn not to curse on the campaign trail, but it makes me really angry when somehow facts become negotiable in pursuit of politics. No other world works like that. And when I hear Peter Roskam say, I don't believe in climate change, I don't care. I may not believe in gravity, but I have to deal with it. And running and trying to bring that respect for facts back as Mr. Foster has done in his own district, and trying to get some respect back for the families and folks in the district as well who have had their health care ripped away from them because we passed a health care bill without reading the CBO score, have had a huge tax burden put on them because we passed a tax bill without getting the Joint Committee on Taxation report. This is not how it should work, and I hope we can bring some of that discipline back. And as I said to Jan Schakowsky, still here? She's here somewhere.
She's eating.
As we said at the power lunch.
She's to your left.
So my request for all of you in leadership is I have this dream that at some point we're going to repeal the Hyde Amendment, and you're going to see fit to give the inheritor of Hyde's seat the chance to cast the deciding vote. So thank you.
All right, very good. Thank you, John. Also, now we have the state of Massachusetts represented by Katherine Clark. So, Katherine, thank you for doing that. She and Denny Beck are overseeing the recruitment nationwide and are doing a remarkable job. I think we have the best crop of candidates anywhere, anytime, at least since I've been following politics, so including from Illinois. Betsy, Dirksen, Londrigan.
Hi, thank you. So I'm Betsy Dirksen, Londrigan, born and raised in the heart of the heartland, Springfield, Illinois, Congresswoman Bustos' hometown. And I have invested everything in my community and in my neighbors for a lifetime. And what got me into this race was May 4th last year when I saw our Congressman Rodney Davis celebrating on the White House lawn. It looked like a frat party. And they were celebrating that they were taking health care away from millions of Americans. And I took that very personally because my husband and I have raised 3 children in our hometown. And in the summer of 2009, we almost lost our oldest son, Jack, when he was 12, to, of all things, a tick bite. I took our family on a horrifying medical journey where we spent 21 days in the pediatric intensive care unit while our son was in a coma and had a ventilator breathing for him. At the end of that journey, we were just so fortunate because we got to take our boy home. And I know what it feels like to be terrified in the hospital and then get home and the bills start coming and you get terrified all over again. And what I know to be true is that if we had not had access to good health care, I would be a mother of 2 and not 3. If we had not had good health insurance, it would have bankrupted our family, no questions asked. And if they hadn't lifted the caps with the ACA, our life now would be unrecognizable. So yes, I took it personally, and I took it personally on behalf of our district, our community, and I want to make sure that we say it loud and clear that health care is a right and not a privilege. And I will continue to deliver that message, and I'll tell you what, people are listening. Because on March 20th, in a 5-way primary, we won with 45.6% of the vote, which was very exciting. I love that number, but the number I love more is that in this election, Democrats we had a 30,000 vote swing. Typically, Republicans polled 20,000 ballots more than us. This year, Democrats polled 10,000 more than Republicans. And in a district where 210,000 votes are cast total, that is a big swing. So we've got a lot of excitement, we've got a lot of energy, and with your help, I am ready to flip this seat and join Congresswoman Bustos. We'll have 2 ladies from Springfield.
Yes.
All right. It's hard to follow so many great folks that are running in Illinois. I'm Brenden Kelly. I'm currently the state's attorney in St. Clair County, Illinois, which is the largest county in the 12th Congressional District. I've been the elected prosecutor there for about 8 years, and before that I was in the United States Navy. And Southern Illinois has been my home for about 30 years. One of the things that I've had to deal with quite a bit as the state's attorney in St. Clair County is the opioid crisis. And it is, to me, a summation of what is going on with Southern Illinois and going on with so many places in the heartland. We have people that are dying of overdoses, people that are suffering from addiction, from heroin, fentanyl, and of course from prescriptions. But when you think about what the opioid crisis is and why this is happening, what do opioids do? They take away pain. They take away people's pain. So it should be no surprise that in the heart of the country, where people have been devastated by so many bad economic policies over the past 20 or 30 years, where people are in pain, that this is happening in our community, that we have this addiction to opioids, that we have so many people dying and suffering because they are in pain. They are in pain because we got a group of people in power now that are trying to take away their health care. The person I'm running against, he voted to take health care away from 38,000 people just in my district. That's more people than I have in some of the 12 counties that I'm running in. They're hurting because they see that their infrastructure is crumbling. They're hurting because they see that their kids are trying to do their homework on their iPads or their Chromebooks, and they can't get it done like other kids can because they don't have a signal, because they don't have access to basic Wi-Fi. They don't have access to the internet. And they're hurting probably most of all because they are losing faith in all of this. They're losing faith in our democracy. They're losing faith that this whole grand experiment can work to improve their lives. But we have an opportunity in this congressional district where it is not about left versus right, it is about up versus down, where it is blue-collar, middle-class, working poor folks that are angry for good reason, but we have an opportunity to turn that anger into something good and to help rebuild the country and restore people's faith in our democratic process. The good news is, before I got in this race, they had it rated as a strong Republican. And I got in this race and they changed it to likely Republican. And then at Christmas, they changed it to leans Republican. And then just last month, they moved it to a toss-up. Now we're going to move it to a leans D and a strong D. We're just going to keep going, and we're going to fight the good fight, and we're going to win. So thank you all for your help.
Thank you, Brenden. All right, Lauren Underwood.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Lauren Underwood. I'm running for Congress in the Illinois 14th Congressional District. I'm a registered nurse from a town called Naperville, and I've spent my career working to expand health care coverage in communities across our country. First by implementing the Affordable Care Act as a career federal employee, and then I joined the Obama administration and worked in public health emergencies and disasters. Things like Ebola and Zika and the water crisis in Flint. Yes, we fought the good fight together, and I'm looking forward to continuing to support the community in Flint from Congress. So I returned home after serving in the administration because Illinois expanded Medicaid. And I started working for a Medicaid managed care company in Chicago when I attended our congressman's one and only public event of the year. It was a moderated question and answer session hosted by our local League of Women Voters. And that night last April, he made a promise. He said he was only going to support a version of repeal that let people with pre-existing conditions keep their health care coverage. Now, as a nurse, I know how critical it is for people to have access to medications and procedures, particularly if they have a chronic illness. I've worked to implement the ACA, so I've read the law, and I know that it works and that we can fix what doesn't work. We don't have to throw the whole thing away. And like so many Americans, I have a pre-existing condition myself. It's a heart condition that's well controlled, but it's one of these diagnoses where I wouldn't be able to get coverage under these repeal scenarios. So when he made that promise, I believed him because it was personal. Well then, a week to 10 days later, Randy Hochran went and voted for the American Health Care Act, which is a version of repeal that did the opposite. And I was upset, not because of the vote itself. He's voted to repeal the ACA dozens of times at this point, but I was upset that he didn't have the integrity to be honest with us the one time he planned to stand before our community. And that's not what a representative is supposed to do. So I said, you know what, it's on. I'm running. Campaign last August and just won the primary. It was a 7-way primary, got 57% of the vote, and now we're focused on doing the work over the next 6 months to flip the 14th district and all these seats in Illinois because we know we can win. And when we win, we'll be able to do the work of protecting healthcare and improving our economy and improving our local schools and all these things. And so thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Let's do it.
Thanks, Ron. 1 second, Jan. Now we have Florida represented. Thank you, Charlie Chris, for being here. In California, Julia Brownlee. Thank you for coming as well. Senator Durbin is on his way to be here also with us, but Jan has a couple words before.
Well, I was going to say that if you stick around, Senator
yes.
Durbin will be here. I want to just give you some really good news. I have the pleasure of and honor of being head of candidate services now for the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. And yesterday I had a few of my friends for lunch, 1,700 of them in Chicago, and had these three candidates. Unfortunately, Brenden couldn't make it up, but
in my district.
Oh, okay, good. That we have, it's not your imagination that more people are involved right now. 1 out of 5 Americans has participated in either a issue rally, a march, or a political rally for a candidate. And of those, 70% are anti-Trump. They are ready for a change. And a large number of those people are involved for the very first time. And so we are seeing this incredible mobilization of people right now who do not want to see the likes of our current members of Congress, all of whom voted against the Affordable Care Act, voted multiple times, tens of times, against the Affordable Care Act, celebrated the fact when they passed a horrible, horrible bill. Peter Roskam was actually the author of the tax bill that gives 83% of the benefits to the wealthiest Americans, and increases income inequality in our country and undermines the middle class and working families across the country. And so this is, I've said this so many times, but I really mean it, the most important election of our lifetimes, and I don't care how old you are. In fact, we had at lunch yesterday my friend Bea Lumpkin, who's the most active activist I've seen. She's going to be 100 years old in August, even in her time, because our democracy is really at stake. So I really want to thank everybody who's here today, our members who are helping other members and writing checks, and all of the organizations that are here and people who are donating. This is the moment. And you know, whether you're from Illinois or not, we have to consider candidates everywhere as our candidates, as our members, because that's what it's going to take for us to win. So I am just so proud to roll up my sleeves, grateful to you for rolling up yours, for supporting our Illinois candidates. We can do this. We can win each and every one of these races. So you've seen them. They're superstars, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Brad Schneider.
Thank you. I just want to add one thing, and it's an honor to be here with all the Illinois delegation. It's a pleasure to stand here with 4 of us who came in 2012 or came back in 2012. I've had the privilege of running 3 very hard races. Won one, lost one, and won the third, and plan to stay here. But I couldn't have done it without your help. But I know what it's like to have a tough race in a tough district in a hard time. And each of the candidates in front of us has a race like what I ran in, where the difference between winning and losing could be that one extra door knock, that one extra call made, or that one last little bit of money to get their commercial on TV one more time. That's what's going to make a difference here. These people are phenomenal candidates. I am so excited about the prospect. It is our chance to take back the House, and it's not just our mission. We have no other purpose but taking back the House. Like Curly in City Slickers, nothing else matters. Because we can't play on defense. We can't fight against this administration. We can't work to save our children's future if we don't have control of one branch of government. These folks are the ones who are going to do it, but they need your help to do it. So thank you for being here. Thank you for helping us. Let's get this done.
All right. guys have anything to share?
I just want to thank everybody for coming. I'm so proud of all 4 of you, and I'll be proud to call you my colleagues. Just to piggyback off of what Brad said, I was one of 18 in my race. Mine was a special election, so short. I don't know how sweet it was, but I won, so that was sweet. But just hang in there, even the days that you feel like, oh, I can't take another step. I've been in those races too. When I ran for state rep, that if you need to call, give you all my numbers, even if it's a crazy time, just to say, oh, and you want to scream, you can scream to us.
Robin speaks for all of us.
So I just want to wish you good luck, and I want to thank the other people in the room, because again, we can't do it without you. That's just the bottom line. We can't do it without you. So thank you.
The only thing I could add is how impressive it is the way, after these contested primaries, many of them, Democrats have just come together. You know, the day after the primary, we just said the stakes are too high. You know, we cannot leave anything on the table when the fate of our democracy is in balance. And it's going to depend on these candidates and others like them coming through for us. So thank you for doing what you're doing and what you're going to be doing for the next few months.
All right, thank you, Bill. Just one more. Katherine, is there anything from a national perspective that this audience might be interested in as far as people running in the other red to blue candidates? Anything that this group would be interested in knowing?
Well, I think the great news is that these outstanding Illinois candidates are not alone. We have such great candidates across the country. And I want to thank all of you again for running. You're very generous. The recruitment, I think our best recruiter is in the White House. But you're all running, and you're such good translators of the issues for families at home and how to put that together with what happens here in Washington. And that story we see in Florida, we're seeing it in North Carolina, we're seeing it in Kansas, a lot of states where we haven't had strong candidates. And this is, there's a great quote that I've been thinking about a lot that Martin Luther King used to say, that there's a hot place in hell for those who remain neutral in the times of great moral conflict. And none of these candidates are neutral. But we see a lot of that across the aisle. And you are rising to the call this time in our democracy. And to the partners in this room, we couldn't do it without you. They need your help. They need those resources. We know the wave of money that's coming at us. And we're just so grateful for your help and support. These candidates are doing everything right, and your support is going to help them win what is going to be tight races across the country. So just thank you all for running, and thank you for being here and supporting them.
All right, thank you, Katherine. Thanks again to the machinists. Where is Rick again? Thank you, Rick, for hosting, and we can mingle until Senator Durbin gets here. And please talk with all of our wonderful candidates.
Schneider's cheap.
Right. Whoops, sorry about that. Yes, I sure was. Yes. Okay, yeah. That the women's that put together.
We know exactly what you're
I sure was. All right. What are you doing now, Sarah? Okay. It's obvious. Okay. Very good. Well, thanks for saying hi, Cheri Bustos. So we're not going to be in Everybody
My daughter.
The senators, no,
The senator has arrived.
For you. No, not for you.
Everyone, please remain seated. Thank you. We're going to meet, if you haven't already, some extraordinary candidates who are here from Illinois. And we are so proud of what came out of our primary. Extraordinary talent in every single race. It really was amazing. And we have four of the best here. And you're going to get to know them personally. Brenden Kelly, his only problem in life is that he was coordinator of my campaign as the state's attorney down in St. Clair County, and he's going to take back the cloth seat, that's for sure. Yeah. Sean Casten here is going to take back the seat that is now held by. How many times have we mentioned that name? We got to get Roscoe. Yeah. Sean's going to do it. Sean was a good, strong winner in the primary, and thank you for that so much. And we need you to make it all the way across the finish line. And this young lady over here, I've known for a long time. I won't tell the whole story. This is my daughter. Where'd she go? There she is over there. Well, they were born within days of one. And Loretta and I and her mom and dad were close buddies and friends. And didn't go to the hospital exactly the same day, almost. So they've grown up together. And so Betsy here is a winner in my area, my congressional district where I live. And then there's this young lady here. This one here. This is the lady story. She comes to see me. I'm meeting the congressional candidates. And when told her, I said to Greg Bales and my staff, this is an amazing candidate. She's been in Time magazine for these things. And came out of nowhere. Lauren did, a nurse running in a tough district and up against a tough primary. And then she wins big. And I called her election night and I asked her one question. Are you sure this is the first time you've ever done it? It was so good. So we have four extraordinary candidates. Our goal is to get all four of them elected and maybe another one, but to get these four elected to the House. I want to make sure that the House of Representatives has a Democratic majority starting in January. Yes. All of them and a special commitment here of the incumbent delegation to help these four and others where we can to win in this race. And I just want to tell you how proud I am of what they've been able to achieve at this point. And I want to get them on the commute between Illinois and Washington, which has been part of my life and leads to a great contribution to our state and nation. For all the other members of the House that are here from Florida and from many other states, thank you for coming and joining us here. And that's the end of my speech. All right, thank you. Are you all
Thank you. there Friday, and the head of you guys shot me a note and said, "Can we sit down and read?" He said, "You called me about Sean's costume." So let's sit down and talk.
As Schneider said, you feel like the Arrested Development, the guy who wore the... Yeah. How are you? So
we're obviously very passionate about opioids right now. So we would love if y'all would complete our citizen survey and be in touch. We'd love to.
Everyone is still
It always helps to have a practitioner in the home who can advise.
Yeah, I've already been on the floor.
Metal ordinance wrapped up. Couple more in 2 days.
Your mother was Cheri.
Just wanted to say hi. Quigley did you have the emergency?
My husband
I was in Senator Hardin. Glad to see you're coming.
and they're the only ones I was there. Because I wouldn't know one other person. I'm with Catherine, so whatever Catherine does, I'm
Hi, Betsy.